Two teams in progress here at the United Center. And excited about their Chicago Bulls. And there is the man they come to cheer the most, Michael Jordan. The lineups for tonight's game. And Mario Elie has been the off guard, filling in for the injured Clyde Drexler. Robert Horry has been a big player for Houston. Pippen, Rodman, Longley, Jordan, and Harper. The usual five for the Bulls. And right now, let's send it over to Cheryl Miller. Cheryl.
Thanks a lot, Dick. As you already mentioned, Clyde Drexler will not be playing in tonight's game, and obviously Houston will miss his scoring and his ability to get this team into their transition offense. But despite his absence, this team is 5-2, and the player that has been filling his shoes has been Mario Elie. He's averaging a little more than 14 points, and I'll tell you, Rudy Tomjanovich calls him his junkyard dog. Last night, he averaged 45 minutes. Tonight, he draws the tough assignment of guarding Michael Jordan. The junkyard dog, guys, might need some help. Back to you.
He sure will, Cheryl. And of course that weakens the bench by having Elie, who he had relied on coming off the bench, but they got a great performer in Sam Cassell. And Rudy Tomjanovich has good reason to smile these days. Two-time NBA champion with a .648 winning percentage, and of course Phil Jackson. In fact, the last three coaches to win NBA titles are in the building tonight. Phil Jackson, Rudy T, and my partner here, Chuck Daly. They won the last 7 NBA championships. But you like it over here better than over there, don't you, Charles?
Well, there's differences, that's for sure. A lot of difference.
So the Rockets, who will be in their new blue with the striped uniforms. A lot of people.
Is that what we call a Yankee pinstripe?
Something like it. I think a lot of people miss the red and gold, and the Bulls are in white, set to go. It'll be Luke Longley jumping up against Hakeem Olajuwon. The Rockets have won 4 in a row, including a 5-point win against the Timberwolves on the road last night. And the Bulls' last game was Saturday, a victory over the Atlanta Hawks. Elie guarded by Harper. They go into Olajuwon. They don't double him yet. Longley is straight up, 9 on the shot clock. And a fall away by Hakeem, misses. Harper the rebound.
Surprised that he didn't get the double team. I think it threw him off a little bit, and he missed a wide open shot. He won't do it long. He'll start attacking very soon.
And of course on the other side, the question who guards Jordan, and Mario Elie, as Cheryl Miller mentioned, has that unenviable assignment. Jordan now with a turnaround, and he misses. So Olajuwon and Jordan missed the first 2 shots of the game.
This is one of those games where the Bulls have had 4 days off, and the last time we saw this against the Knicks, they came out very, very flat.
Horry firing away, misses, and the rebound taken by Michael Jordan. Jordan, the leading scorer in the NBA at 30 a game, and Scottie Pippen, who a lot of people think rates MVP consideration.
Both clubs kind of feeling each other out and kind of settling for shots, not moving the ball, not working to get good shots.
Here's Olajuwon. And he misses his second shot. So far, the straight-up defense with Longley on him has thrown him off. Pippen all the way in. And Horry has it taken away by Harper. And it's going to be Bulls possession. Good hustle by Ron Harper.
And Pippen taking the length of the floor, and you'll see something there that you won't often see to miss an easy layup like that.
Well, we've had the big stars of the game all miss so far. No score. Nearly a minute and a half elapsed. Here's Rodman, finds Longley, shooting over Olajuwon, and Chucky Brown the rebound.
Chucky Brown, a great story, been with over 4 clubs, been in the CBA, and one of those guys that Rudy T really loved. This club is loaded with former CBA players. I think there's a line of thinking in Houston about those kinds of players.
They're hungrier, that's for sure. There's the double on Olajuwon. Gets it out to Elie with 3 on the shot clock. Mario Elie hits the first basket of the game. Each team had missed their first 3 shots till then.
And obviously the Bulls are going to show him a different look. Sometimes straight up, sometimes a double. In that case, almost a triple.
Dennis Rodman, who's sporting a new hair color tonight. Jordan misses outside. Pippen crashes the boards, and he'll be called for a loose ball foul.
Obviously, Dennis thinks blondes have more fun.
Well, I asked him how many games he's worn the yellow or blonde hairdo. He says, this is the first time. I said, why? I don't know. Gene Siskel, the film critic, said he doesn't even know. Jordan with a steal over Kenny Smith.
Careless pass in the backcourt. You got to be careful when Jordan is in the backcourt. He's so dangerous.
Remind you a little bit of Dennis Johnson in the Pistons-Celtic game?
Yeah, I have seen that before somewhere.
One of the great playoff games.
Larry Bird used to be a master at the same kind of play.
Horry misses the perimeter shot. Tipped by just about every member of the Bulls. Pippen has Jordan on the wing. Try to force it, and it was blocked by Horry. Good defensive play by Robert Horry.
I like what Scotty's doing, though, going to the board early rather than settling for shots. He's trying to get layups, put pressure on the defense. He could settle for the three-point later.
Jordan gives up the dribble. Pippen and Horry, that's a great matchup tonight. Longley with a turnaround. And Elijah on the rebound. Talking with Phil Jackson before the game, he says, I've got to get other guys besides Pippen and Jordan into the offense.
It's a nice thought, but those two guys command the ball most of the time. I don't think it's necessarily going to happen.
Hakeem doubled. Jordan knocked it away. And here's Harper. Jordan, fourth in the NBA in steals. Pulls up with it. That's one that he rarely misses.
You're right about steals. He's fourth, and of course Scottie Pippen ninth. And two best combo in the league.
How about Pippen right there with the block? The Bulls are 1 for 8 from the field. And Rodman got the block that time. 1 for 9 from the field now of the Bulls. But the score is even at 2-2. So it's been a slow start. Houston only 1 for 7 from the field. 4 minutes gone by. Hakeem Olajuwon. Both teams are frozen off the top of this game.
And Olajuwon right now is struggling to make transition plays. He's both ends of the court.
Here's Horry, and they get into the forecourt, but the Bulls are back defensively. And Hakeem Olajuwon is limping coming up court, and he might have been hit in the face. And we're going to have a 20-second timeout. And now it is a full timeout called by Rudy T of the Rockets. We'll check out Hakeem when we come back. Here is Hakeem, slow coming up the court. Doesn't look like an injury, Chuck. What do you think?
I think he's just plain tired, because I've watched him on every possession. He's having a hard time getting into the offense, both defensively and offensively, as you can see. Here he's slow getting into the offense. Finally gets down there, but if you have to wait that long, it's a problem for your offense.
Cheryl, what do you have on this?
Well, Dick and Chuck, you know that this game will be pretty physical, and Olajuwon just took an elbow to the jaw, kind of slowed him up a little bit, but you know he's a warrior. He's back in the game.
Remember, he had a bad back injured, is getting ready for that one-on-one with O'Neal.
One of the problems you have when you play the Bulls is this steal, this deflection business. You don't meet those kind of teams that can do that. And there's Jordan again.
Ellie coming back with it, and there's the alley-oop inside. Horry misses, and here's Rodman. The track beat is on. Scottie Pippen against Hakeem. Hakeem with a piece of it.
And challenged the two-time defensive player of the year in the lane. Not good.
Kenny Smith misses a three. Into the hands of Smith again. 1 for 9, 1 for 12. The shooting in this game.
If this were okay and shoot out at the corral or whatever.
It's not so okay.
Nobody's getting in.
Olajuwon missed it, and Chucky Brown kept it alive, and Horry fires it up. Olajuwon with a turnaround finally hits it. Chuck, they must think there is a 10-second clock instead of a 24.
Well, sometimes you get into that game and look at the score. Score only 4-2 because neither club can find the range, no matter what the distance.
That's amazing. Nearly halfway through this opening period, Rodman feeding Luke Longley to tie the game at 4. That's true. That's the right score. If you just tuned in with nearly 6 minutes remaining in the first quarter, it's 4-4. Chucky Brown guarded by Rodman now. Ellie with Harper on him, and Mario Ellie with 4 of the 6 Houston points. Pippen stop and go around Horry, and now it looks like they're going to start sizzling a little bit offensively.
Well, Pippen's looking to push the ball every time. They know that Houston played last night, and they're having a problem getting back in transition. He's had 3 opportunities. That's the first one he's converted.
Kenny Smith, 6th year with the Houston Rockets, again misses from the perimeter. Rodman into the hands of Harper, leading scorer. Jordan, as we mentioned, the top point man in the league at 30 a game. Pippen with 22.2 is his scoring average. Posting up now, Jordan. Over Ellie, foul, basket counts. And a chance for a three-point play by Michael Jordan.
And this is kind of a patent move for him this particular year. He will get the ball on the baseline. He'll start his dribble in, make contact, spin, dance away, hang in the air, get the shot. That time he gets fouled. You'll see that a lot during the course of the evening. Mario
Elie with the first foul for him. Michael Jordan, who says he can still go to the basket, but teams are giving him the outside shot. So he's taking it. And Jordan gives the Bulls a 9-6 lead, and Pippen on the steal fires up a three. Rodman keeps it alive. That's 5 rebounds already for Dennis Rodman. Horry picking up Jordan on the switch, helped out by Hakeem. Turnover. Horry, and Horry was looking for an alley-oop with Mario Elie, but Elie wasn't around.
The Houston Rockets very, very careless with the basketball. We've seen 4 very bad passes. They do that. They're fortunate they're not much further down in this game.
Rudy T's team has had strange roots to the last 2 titles. They had a great start 2 years ago, 15-0, and then struggled a little bit, then won 58 games. They go to Sam Cassell off the bench. Cassell turning into one of the top 6 men in the NBA. Pippen with Longley setting a screen. Cassell fights Rodman. Elie has Horry down court. Careless behind the back pass.
Horry's made 2 of those passes. Looks like he's struggling mentally, and Dennis Rodman with great hustle. You're right about Cassell going. I felt all along, Cassell, one of those players who's really working, can get his own shot and make a lot of things happen. There's Rodman really hustling for the basketball, coming up with that interception or turnover, as you like.
Well, Houston has turned it over, Chuck, 7 times already in this game. Careless with the ball and not shooting extremely well. But it's a 3-point game. Bulls in front. Jordan pops top of the key. Sam Cassell the rebounder. He had 25 coming off the bench against the Timberwolves last night. 4 minutes remaining, first quarter. Sloppy first period between these 2 dominant teams in the NBA. Olajuwon. Baby hook hits. Hakeem with his second hoop.
And that's the most aggressive move he's made, and he'll start to be more aggressive from here on out. He understands his team and what's happening on the floor.
Rodman gets a double screen from Longley and Pippen. And Jordan now with 7 points. It's Michael Jordan with 7. So Cassell and Elie are the guards, but the Rockets as a team look sluggish.
Watch Cassell on that pass, threw it too low. While Hakeem Olajuwon was fighting for position with Longley physically, he threw him a bad pass, one that he can't handle. You've got to give him a pass he can handle.
11-8, the Bulls lead. Amazingly low score here in the first quarter. Harper posting up against Cassell. And you want that with Harper at 6'6" against Cassell at 6'3", and Rodman with great hustle. Crowd loves it. Pippen with a left-handed layup is good.
And volleyball at its best. Rodman tip, 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 till he finally runs it down.
And now they say no basket. The basket was waved off. So a timeout with just under 3 minutes remaining in the first quarter.
Dennis Rodman, such an efficient rebound. Here, first of all, gets boxed. He gets a deflection here, tips it up again, keeps tipping away from the defensive player, finally runs it down and makes a great pass to Scottie Pippen. Basket was waved off.
Yeah, that's
what makes him such a tough rebounder. He tips it, runs it down, and people can't keep up with it.
Michael Jordan said that Dennis Rodman's a lot smarter than people give him credit for. He studies the game, even to the point of getting the angles off of the glass. So he really follows the game and studies it a lot more than people may think.
Well, everybody thinks he's just a rebounding machine, but there's a lot more to it. He's always known exactly, just like certain guys know how to work off screen and get scores, he knows how to get rebounds.
Tony Kukoc in the game for the first time for Chicago. So Cassell and Kukoc, the top 6 men for both teams. in the game. Cassell working now against Jordan. Hakeem, and knocked away by Michael Jordan on the steal. Quick hands by Jordan. Here's Kukoc. Pulls up and hits. Tony Kukoc coming in as the third leading scorer at over 11 a game.
In the previous play, Olajuwon had the ball isolated at about 8 to 10 feet. Didn't take the shot.
Cassell comes back with a three. Cassell averaging 15 a game, third leading scorer in just his third year from Florida State. A lot of teams didn't think he would be as impressive a pro as he's been. Jordan misses the turnaround. Cassell brings it across under 2 minutes to go in the first quarter. 13-11, the Bulls lead the Rockets. Cassell hits the shot. So Cassell now has scored the last 5 Rockets points.
He did that in the playoffs time and time again the last several years. He'll come in, and he's a terrific offensive player. Reminds me of Vinnie Johnson years ago. They used to call him Kukoc Rave, and he comes in and gets hot immediately. And there's Longley with his second field goal.
So Longley, more important than his 2 baskets is the fact that he has yet to pick up a foul. And another 3 this time by Mario Elie. So Elie now with 7 points leads the Rockets. And the Rockets lead 16-15. 1:10 remaining in the first quarter. Kukoc left wide open. Rodman with the offensive rebound. Tipped down, and here is Cassell with Jordan back. Cassell. And Elie kept it alive. Cassell. Great hustle by Sam Cassell. Under a minute to go in the first quarter. Rockets lead by 1. Pull up from the baseline, and Cassell now has scored the last 7 points for Houston.
By himself has got them back in the game, giving them energy off the bench, gotten second shots 2 or 3 times in a row, made a 3, and really made a difference. And that's what Rudy's looking for. He's looking for people with energy tonight, trying to find enough guys that can do it.
Luke Longley is fouled. And Hakeem Olajuwon picking up the first foul. Rudy Tomjanovich, who as a head coach with the Rockets has faced elimination 11 times since he's become head coach in '92 in the playoffs and won 10 of them. So this team plays better when their backs to the wall.
Yeah, he talked about that extensively today, and a lot of clubs are like that, but not quite like this club. And I don't think that Rudy was real happy with that particular foul, because reaching behind on Longley is not the way to pick up so-called cheap foul.
Mark Bryant replaces Olajuwon in the Houston lineup. Dickie Simpkins and Steve Kerr check in for the Bulls. Simpkins started the first 12 games of the year with Dennis Rodman out with a calf injury. Kukoc working against Ori. Fell off the rim. And now playing for the last shot with 5 seconds to go, nearly an over and back. Cassell finds Elie. Elie for 3, and he misses at the buzzer. So Sam Cassell coming off the bench to score 7, along with Elie, who started. Jordan with 7 leads the Bulls, and after 1 quarter of play, they're Chuck Daly, Dick Stockton here at the United Center. The Houston Rockets lead the Chicago Bulls 18-15 as we start the second quarter. And what a difference between the first 6 minutes of the game and the final 6 minutes of the first quarter as far as the shooting is concerned. Both teams came out ice cold, Chuck, and then they found their range.
Yeah, particularly Sam Cassell. He really got him back in the game with his energy, made some big shots. Interesting, Houston with 19 rebounds, Chicago with 11, Houston with 9 turnovers. That comes sometimes in a night when you played the night before and mentally you're not quite into the game. They're fortunate they've got the lead back and they're able to rest some of their key people.
Randy Brown and Steve Kerr start the second quarter in the backcourt. Kerr, the big 3-point threat, with Kukoc, Bill Wennington in the game, and Scottie Pippen, who misses that shot. And substitutions, Pete Chilcutt has come in for the Rockets. And their secret weapon, Eldridge Recastner from the CBA, the MVP, who has really been a tremendous spark as a relative unknown in the NBA. Robert Horry with a turnaround is fouled, and he'll shoot 2.
He doesn't do a lot of posting up, but in that case, he was good enough to draw a foul on Scottie Pippen.
Robert Horry going to the line. He has developed into the Rockets version in many ways of Scottie Pippen. He's 6'10", and he's got good shooting range from three-point territory.
And I think as his career goes on, as he develops his low post moves, I think he can be a much better low post player than he is now. Because when you play with Houston, so much of the time you spend on the perimeter line shooting three-point shots, which he's become very efficient at. In fact, Tomjanovich today indicated to us one of the reasons they originally wanted to trade him was because he wouldn't shoot enough. And now prior to this game, he's taken 166 threes.
He used to be too unselfish. Not anymore, and he shouldn't be. 80% free throw shooter gives the Rockets a 5-point lead. Houston on a 12-2 run. Kukoc shot missed inside. Pippen was there, and now Chilcutt comes down with it.
Houston showing quick hands in the lane. Picked off 2 last 3 possessions.
Cassell being guarded by Brown. Brown, a good defender, played at Sacramento the last 4 years. Cassell misses, so Randy Brown, who averages 10 minutes a game with a good defensive job, he'll need it against Cassell.
Randy Brown getting some time. As Coach Jackson told you today, he needs another guy to play the point guard. And there's Tony Kukoc doing what he does so well.
Second basket for Kukoc. Recastner guarded by Kerr. In low now to Bryant. Bryant and Wennington. And Wennington commits the foul on Mark Bryant. A couple of former Big East players. St. John's for Wennington and Seton Hall for Mark Bryant.
You be the referee. Did he double dribble? Picked it up. He did get deflected out of his hand.
So Mark Bryant is on the free throw line. He was the principal addition acquired from Portland as a power forward, but he had a groin injury and he missed 8 games. So he is just now coming on for the Rockets in the rebounding department. Want to remind you, Friday on TNT, the Indiana Pacers take on the San Antonio Spurs. That's quite a matchup live from the Alamo Dome at 8 p.m. Eastern. That's this Friday on TNT. 1 free throw for Bryant. And the Rockets are up by 4.
Mark Bryant, a free agent, big pickup, as you said, played with Portland last year. And in a key game with Orlando, he was the guy they went to in the low post.
Kerr gets it into Kukoc. He's guarded by Chilcutt. Could be a good matchup for the Bulls here. 7 on the shot clock. Wennington from outside. And Brown trying to keep it alive, but Recastner coming down with it. Eldridge Recastner from the University of Washington. Played at Yakima in the state of Washington in the CBA and was the league's MVP. Bryant misses a running hook.
The Houston Rockets, we talked about it before, they do their homework and they like players from the CBA, particularly from Yakima.
Always from Yakima. Pippen with a layup across the lane. He has 4 points. Jordan, who is on the bench right now, leads the Bulls with 7. 2-point lead for the Rockets with less than 9.5 to play here in the second quarter. Cassell with a step move to the hoop. Recastner over the top. Turns it over to the Bulls. So here's Eldridge Recastner, who is a coach's player, according to Rudy T. Knocked around a lot, but knows in the fundamentals of the game. He can be a backup point guard, a good three-point shooter. Come in handy.
Yeah, and Rudy, early in the year, you remember the telephone conversation with the league's coaches. Liked him even then, and he's gotten to playing time, one because of Drexler's injury.
Kerr with an arcing shot. Steve Kerr with his first points of the game ties the score at 21. Brown guarding Cassell. Cassell has yet to score here in the second quarter as he misses another shot. Bryant with the offensive rebound. Horry for 3. In and out. Wennington clears. Horry has been the best three-point shooter for the Rockets. Pippen leaves it for Brown. And the rebound by Bryant. That's not what Phil Jackson had in mind on that sequence.
No, they're having a problem, though, Houston's having a problem getting the ball under control. And Pippen keeps pushing the ball. Good things will happen over the course of the game if it happens, and there's one of them.
Steal by Pippen and driven home by Tony Kukoc. And the Bulls regain the lead, 23-21.
It's so difficult for your transition defense when you have to go against a guy like Pippen who can keep pushing it at you from the forward spot.
Recaster trying to go baseline against Kerr. Tipped up by Chilcutt. And Whittington finally comes down with the rebound. So 6 straight points run off by the Bulls. Scottie Pippen guarded by Robert Horry. Good double team with Chilcutt, and Kukoc burns him for 3 from downtown. 9 for Kukoc, and 9 straight run off by the Bulls, and a timeout called by the Houston Rockets. Tony Kukoc now with 9 points is the game's top scorer.
Careless with the ball. Cassell lobs it up in the air. And here comes Pippen. We talked about earlier. When a forward can push the ball like this, it puts so much pressure on your defense. That case, they get it to Tony Kukoc, and he scores easily. But pressure on the defense, Pippen's been applying it all night.
4 for 6 from the field for Tony Kukoc, and 9 points. And this game being telecast internationally to over 200 countries, 3 telecasts, including our TBS broadcast, and you see all of the press, the photographers, and the cameramen. Hakeem Olajuwon has checked back into the game for the Rockets. Houston was in front 18-15 when he went out in the final minute of the first quarter. Since then, the Bulls have outscored the Rockets 11-3.
Rudy Tomjanovich was trying to buy time, and he waited perhaps a little bit too long to get Olajuwon back in.
Houston, as you saw, 0 for 7 this quarter. Recaster gets it in low to Hakeem against Kukoc, and they're going to
call a walk. And
Bryant, yes.
And Rudy Tomjanovich says, I like this matchup against Kukoc. I'm going to go to the low post instead of going to Olajuwon. Got nothing out of it except a turnover.
Kukoc is guarded by Bryant. Houston already with 11 turnovers. Chicago with only 4. Bill Whittington hits from outside. 7 minutes remaining in the first half. It's now 28-21 Bulls.
Previous play saw the versatility of Tony Kukoc, driving left, getting in, drawing the defense, kicking out, getting a great shot for Whittington.
Olajuwon, sloppy pass by Recaster, and another turnover. That's the 12th for the Rockets. Jordan guarded by Ellie. Jordan has 7 points. Kukoc, who's had a hot second quarter, misses from the perimeter. He was open. Cassell for the Rockets. They keep Brown in there to do the job on Cassell. Good baseline move by Bryant, and a foul is called inside. And it's against Tony Kukoc, his first foul. Referee tonight, the officials, Dick Bavetta, along with Greg Willard and Joe Borgia.
The team's third. A delay of game warning.
And a delay of the game warning has been charged as well. Portland playing Boston at the Fleet Center in a 4-point lead. Orlando with a 2-point lead at the half over Toronto. That's a little surprise.
A little bit of surprise, particularly at home.
Bryant, free throws stopped in 11-0 Bulls run, and the cheers are for Dennis Rodman, who's coming back into the game. Rodman hasn't scored any points in the game, but he has 7 rebounds, and Randy Brown, with a good job done defensively, sits down.
He hasn't been getting a lot of playing time during the course of the year, but they're going to go back to him and try to take some of the pressure off Michael Jordan playing point guards.
Bryant hits them both. Bulls 15-0. The only other undefeated team at home in the NBA are the Orlando Magic, struggling against Toronto. Orlando is 16-0 on their home floor. Here's Jordan working against Cassell. Jordan, that's his first basket of the second quarter. He's got 9 in the game.
And when they run that particular aspect of the offense, where they diagonally cut him and get the ball to him, isolate against Cassell. Cassell is just too small to play him.
Olajuwon has scored 4 points. Double team now. Ellie off the mark with a 3, and Kerr gets the rebound for the Bulls. Kerr fires up a 3. Kukoc had it and lost it. Ellie fighting him for the loose ball, and here's Sam Cassell goes up and draws the foul. And Cassell's got to be happy that Randy Brown went out of the game, and that foul against Kerr, his first.
Olajuwon still struggling to get in the offense, and the times he does, the last time he was double teamed, he's gotten very, very few shots in the course of this particular game.
Recently, the 9th player in the NBA to go over 20,000 career points and 10,000 rebounds, and wouldn't you know it, he says he can play 5 or 6 more years.
I'm sure he can with his abilities, and you've got Drexler, who's not far behind, approaching. He's got a lot of points to score, but he's going to probably get his 20,000 also.
Cassell with the free throws, he's got 9 now, and the score is the Bulls 30, the Rockets 25.
Houston struggling to get baskets, have gotten to the free throw line, which is keeping them in the game.
Tony Kukoc finds Jordan. They try to double at the last moment. Jordan hits another one. Michael Jordan getting some rhythm with the outside shot, has 11. And again, a 7-point Bulls lead.
Same play. Made the diagonal cut. They swung the ball, got him on the box. Did a little bit differently that time, but still got him where he wanted to be.
There's Hakeem going baseline, missed the layup. Wennington was a presence inside. And a loose ball foul is called. Foul is against Cassell, his first.
Take a look at the top here. Here's Jordan over on the weak side, isolated. Tony Stark's in the lane. He ultimately gets it to him there. Usually they swing it back to the top. Double team's coming. He still got up and over it.
The Bulls bench scored only 16 points in their last game against Atlanta, their lowest output of the season. They already have 13 off the bench. Jordan hits another one, so Michael Jordan getting hot from outside, now with 13.
And Rudy Tomjanovich in a dilemma, saying, what am I going to do? Cassell is going to have a problem playing him because of size. Who do I go to?
Biggest lead of the game for the Bulls. Cassell misses one, and the rebound into the hands of Wennington. Kerr brings it up. 4:15 remaining in the second quarter. Dick Stockton and Chuck Daly here at the United Center. Two teams with the best records in their respective conferences going at it. And Tony Kukoc, who's having a whale of a first half offensively, has matched his season's average with 11.
He's playing superb tonight. He's getting to the basket. He's sky high for this game.
And a 20-second timeout has been called by the Rockets.
Sam Cassell over here talking to Greg Willer, saying he hit my arm. In fact, what's happening, Cassell's getting beat on the other end, and he's coming back, taking a quick shot, trying to make it up. Here's Kukoc. Why they don't play him? That time they got screened, but they keep letting. When he goes to his left, he's devastating. He's got the jump hook over Olajuwon. You must play him on that left hand and make him go in the opposite direction.
The Rockets have scored only 7 points here in the second quarter. The Bulls have done it with superb defense, and Rudy T's Rockets have been sloppy with the ball.
And they've not gone to much. They've gone to no set plays. They've gone to some isolations. They went to Bryant. They've gotten it to Olajuwon, but he's been either double teamed and hasn't been that effective, and they've settled for outside shots. And they're kind of wild at that. And with the turnovers, it's got them in real trouble here.
And they're meat and potatoes. Olajuwon only 2 for 7 from the field. Cassell, now Longley back in there, fronting Hakeem. Now playing behind him, and a foul called against Luke Longley. That is his first, so already he has done a yeoman night's work by hanging in there without any fouls till this point.
And he's playing very physical. He's playing it on the side of him, hooking his arm inside, trying to move him off the block, then sometimes getting behind. When he gets behind and Olajuwon gets the ball, then you've got a problem. And then the decision comes for the Chicago Bulls defensively. Do they double team at that point?
Scottie Pippen will come in, and Tony Kukoc leaves the game and gets a big hand. Kukoc scoring 11 points, 9 of them here in the second quarter.
What a luxury. You take out Kukoc, who's having a brilliant game, and bring in Pippen.
36-26, the lead is 10. Biggest lead was 11 moments ago. So Kukoc has 11 on the bench right now, and Scottie Pippen. Rodman finds Longley. There's that triangle offense that Chuck talked about in the beginning. And Michael Jordan burns him from the other corner.
Classic. They moved the ball, moved people, and they got an outstanding shot. That was the best ball movement of the game.
So Jordan has hit his last 4 shots and has 15 points. Here's Hakeem. And another foul called against Longley, and he complains about that call. So 2 quick fouls against Luke Longley of the Bulls.
Yeah, I'd like to draw it, but you're not going to be able to draw this. That's only the early part. But here they hit Longley, backdoor by Pippen. He doesn't like it. He throws deep to the other court, and Jordan makes a shot. But even before we picked it up, there were at least 3 passes. Great ball movement, great people movement, and an outstanding shot by Jordan.
Chucky Brown has replaced Mark Bryant, and Bill Winnington will come in for Longley, who goes out with 2 quick fouls. The Rockets are 9 of 11 from the free throw line. How many times do you think the Bulls have been to the line so far today?
I would say none.
Close, once. And they made it. And as you mentioned, that's what kept Houston in the ballgame, trailing by 10 with under 3 minutes to go in the half. Pippen, this is from outside, and Chucky Brown clears. You had him with the Nets a few years ago.
Yeah, Chucky Brown, a terrific player, never commands the ball. Just comes, goes to work, does all the little things. Not a great skill player, not a great scorer, not a great passer, but does a lot of things that you like as a coach.
What Rudy T would like is a basket this quarter. The Rockets have all of their points from the line. 0 for 10 this second quarter from the field. Rodman from Michael Jordan. And the first basket of the game for Dennis Rodman. Opening up again a 12-point lead. Risky pass by Hakeem. Driving in is Mario Elie.
They went for the steal, they kicked it out, and Mario was able to find the seam and get to the rim. But they were fortunate because they almost had that one picked off.
Took 9 minutes, 46 seconds before the Rockets hit a field goal. Michael Jordan now has 5 in a row. And once again, the Bulls coming back quickly to counter the basket by the Rockets, again up by 12 with under 2 minutes to play in the first half. Here's Mario Elie in the pack. Horry to Cassell. Wild shot off the glass by Cassell. Here's Kerr. Total domination by the Bulls here in the second quarter, and only 1 field goal by the Houston Rockets here in this period. And they'll call the foul on Elie, and Michael Jordan is fouled. A timeout called with 1:25 to go in the second.
Michael Jordan used to combine the bench when I was coaching at Detroit and Nets and say, better get somebody else in there. Can't stop me. And here's the case right here. Cassell, he backs him in. Too small. When he elevates like that, too difficult.
And how right he was. So let's take a look at tonight's Visa leaderboard. The top scorers in the NBA. You see Michael Jordan averaging 30 a game at #1. Hakeem Olajuwon off to a very slow start with only 5 points and coming in averaging 24.5. But Michael Jordan has hit his last 5 shots, and he has 10 points here in the quarter and has dominated Hakeem in the MVP comparison. 42-30, the Bulls in front. Jordan looking for more. He's hot. Winnington given the outside shot by Olajuwon, obliges and hits the shot. The biggest lead right now, 14 for Chicago.
And Hakeem, as you mentioned, has only had 8 shots. He's got to have more shots and get better shots. And that's up to Rudy to find a way offensively to start getting your star more shots. Got to have it.
Except for the time that Cassell came in toward the end of the first quarter, the Rockets have never been in sync in this game. Coming up on the Reebok halftime report, Vince Cellini and Dick Versace are joined by special guest Atlanta Hawks head coach Lenny Wilkens. In the trio, we'll take a peek at Lenny's Olympic team that's coming up on the Reebok halftime report. 5 on the shot clock. And stepping on the line was Cassell. Turns it over to the Bulls.
Mistakes, turnovers, bad passes, struggle.
13 turnovers by the Rockets, who have had 2 real long dry spells in the game. They started the contest 1 for 11, and now in this quarter 1 for 13.
And 1 assist, we might add.
Ooh. That's not championship caliber play right now. And a reaching foul by Cassell. And that's the 15th foul and the second in the last 2 minutes. So Michael Jordan will go to the free throw line.
An interesting date to put on your calendar is probably January 30th. I think Chicago goes back to Houston, and it'll be an interesting game to see, particularly if this game continues along this route, although I sense it won't. I sense that somehow Houston will find a way to get back into this basketball game.
You know, last year, Chuck, the team split their 2 games, with the Rockets winning at Houston by 23 and the Bulls winning here at the United Center by 19. And Rudy T said that was the low point of the season for the Rockets last year, that big loss here in Chicago.
Let's say get on track. He's headed for another low point tonight.
Well, he's got to start somewhere, but he comes in with a 23-8 record, best in the West. Lane violation. So the Rockets have the ball with about half a minute remaining in the first half. Tim Bro has come into the ball game, rarely used guard out of Wyoming. And a runner by Chucky Brown off, and it's going to be Bulls possession with 16.4.
One of the problems that Houston has is when Hakeem isn't getting a shot or getting the situation where he's getting the double team where they feed off of it, they don't have enough ways to score for other people. They don't have people who can go score. Cassell happens to be one. The rest of the people feed off of Hakeem on the three-point line.
And that's, Chuck, where they miss Clyde Drexler, who has averaged over 20 a game. Leading playmaker, second in rebounds, and so he is sorely missed tonight. Wennington on the feed from Kukoc, and the Rockets foul with 3 seconds to go.
There's an example. Tony Kukoc, we're going to see him at the top of the circle. Now, you would sense that you would stay on his left hand at some point. All he does is go left. They keep letting him get the left side. He was even shaded to the opposite hand. Somebody's not doing their homework, whoever happens to be playing him.
Yeah, you got to watch that left hand. That's the trigger hand for Tony Kukoc. Foul was on Tim Bro. Wennington hits the first free throw. 3 of 3 for Chicago, and Houston has gone to the line 9 more times.
Which is a little bit of a surprise, but they've tried to get inside because they've been able to do nothing offensively.
47-30, the Bulls with a rousing lead over the Rockets. Olajuwon with the final seconds fires it up and misses. So it is a half that the Rockets would like to forget, as the Bulls, sparked by Michael Jordan's 18 points, lead the Bulls to a 47-30 lead at the half. 18 points, 11 coming in the second quarter. Tony Kukoc 11 off the bench, and Bill Wennington 6. So a far better production tonight thus far from the Chicago Bulls bench than they have had in recent games. And coaches always look at the assist to turnover ratio.
Boy, that is lopsided in that case. Houston with 1 assist. Chicago with 12 turnovers, 13 for Houston. They were very, very careless with the ball, particularly in the first quarter.
Start of the second half. We're underway. It'll be Harper, Pippen, Jordan, Longley, and Rodman. Horry, Kenny Smith, who didn't really get to play all that much in the first half. Chucky Brown, Olajuwon, and Mario Elie. Here's Jordan with 8 on the shot clock. He gets Elie in the air and hits the first shot. So Michael Jordan, going back to the second quarter, has now hit 6 in a row from the field.
And they went to the staple of their offense. That's what they call the weak side pinch post. He comes behind, makes it very, very difficult for the defensive man.
Horry goes inside, but Pippen anticipated, bats it away. So 2 of the big steals leaders in the NBA, Pippen and Jordan. Jordan posting up against Elie with a quick turnaround, and his shots, baskets miss after 6 in a row, and Scottie Pippen with the offensive rebound and the foul.
Here's that pinch post we talked about. Your Pippen gets it. He dips. He didn't even dip. Came behind. Right now, Ellie's in trouble. Got him up in the air. Couldn't foul him. Jordan, having good balance, gets up, nails the shot. Pippen, 4 steals already tonight. May not be scoring a lot of points, but getting a lot of hands on the basketball. Deflections and steals for this early in the game is a lot.
He's been nursing a sore left Achilles tendon, and he's given it a rest in the recent days. 1 out of 2. Longley picks up the loose ball and stuffs it through, and it's 52-30.
What a great reaction play. Jordan just steps in the lane, quickly lobs it two-hand over Longley. Longley gets a very easy basket.
Pippen gambling for the steal on Ori. Rodman and Ori battling for it. And it'll be Bulls ball.
Watch from the top of the key right here. Watch Jordan. They did not box him out. Shot goes up. It's missed. Hold it right there. Look at Jordan getting in the lane because they didn't box him out. That's an old play of theirs. Watch what he does with the ball. Very quickly. Bang. Longley, quick two.
Jordan with another quick two. This time scoring on his own. 22 points for Michael Jordan. 14-point lead. 24 points for Jordan.
There's Luke Longley using that right forearm and shoulder, kind of hooking Olajuwon from the top, but it's effective because Olajuwon isn't getting the catches. And right now you see Phil Jackson
writing a new book.
Yeah, he's writing notes for the future because he expects maybe one of these days to be playing this club again outside of regular season. At least he's preparing for it.
Well, he's got that 15-0 home court record, 54-30, 14-point lead for the 24-point lead, excuse me, for the Chicago Bulls. I keep putting Houston closer into this game than they deserve to be. Pippen into Jordan, gets the ball back. Bulls' task is to stay sharp with a huge lead that they have right now. Not an easy thing to do. Rodman fires away and misses a three, but Jordan is there to clean up. Michael Jordan with the basket. 56-30, a 26-point lead for the Bulls. And a little bit of a letdown to this point.
Yeah, it is, and you kind of suspected it early in the evening.
It was always a dream of mine to play in the Olympics. And now to get this opportunity to be on this dream team, it's a wonderful honor.
I'm sure when that day comes, I'll be the proudest basketball player in the world because it's something that you've done for your country.
I'm actually wearing the U.S. uniform, representing the U.S. for the Olympics. Still can't believe it, you know, it's still like a dream.
To be with 11 other guys who are considered to be the best basketball players in the world, it's an awesome feeling.
The Dream Team, coming this summer.
Here's Olajuwon with the ball in a low post. Luke Longley is playing. Watch from the top, Harper, and then Jordan gives over. That's committee defense. They're giving him a full double team from the top with the ball, and then Jordan's having it, anticipating coming, makes it very difficult for him to get a shot. He's got to start finding the open man.
You know, once upon a time, the Houston Rockets had a 20-15 lead. It was the first minute of the second period. Now you see the 9-0 run by the Bulls this quarter. Since that time, the Bulls have outscored the Rockets 41-10. It has been a dismal night for the Rockets. And Robert Horry, who has not made a field goal tonight, is fouled going to the hoop.
There's a little different look. They were going to decide to isolate Horry on the box. They went on a direct pass to him. He did not have a good shot because Pippen played him very well, but he did end up getting to the free throw line. That's what they're going to have to do if they can't get field goals. They're going to have to try to get to the line.
They have been getting to the line, but not enough, as Horry, an 80% free throw shooter, hits the first. Robert Horry. For 5 from the field. All his points coming from the free throw line, has 4, and it's 56-32. So the lead is 24.
There's a little bit of downcourt pressure. They're going to throw a little bit of a trap. This has bothered Chicago in the past a little bit.
Harper lost control of the ball and has stepped on the line, so turns it over. It was interesting that for the first time that in a long while, the Bulls seemed a little bit confused.
Well, they haven't seen that trap thus far in the game. They'll usually try to, they'll usually adjust to it. But I've seen them in 2 or 3 games where they have struggled with this trap because it takes them out of their rhythm, out of the offense, and out of where they want to get the ball.
Horry gets it in low to Hakeem. And the foul was committed before the shot.
One of the things that Houston's doing, they're coming down strong side and going directly into Olajuwon. I think at some point you've got to misdirect the ball. What they call misdirection plays in football and basketball. Go one way, come back and try to isolate them. And I sense that and hope that they have it in their repertoire.
Pick and roll from Mario Elie to Chucky Brown. Jordan, by the way, picked up that last foul. It was his first of the ball game. It's been all Chicago Bulls. Houston at one time had a 20-15 lead. Great feed, long lead at Pippen. And he couldn't connect on the reverse layup. So here come the Rockets, and when Hakeem isn't doing the job inside, they've got the three-point shooters. They're not there tonight either.
Well, they're not going to get those kind of shots against the club. They're so used to getting it, they don't get it and stay home. They had the same problem against the Knicks, although they were able to beat them in 7 games in the playoff. But it was the same problem when they were on transition. There's no matchup for Jordan. You've got to find someone who can play Michael Jordan to some degree.
26 points for Michael Jordan. Kenny Smith gets it down low to Hakeem. Rockets playing like they're in a trance. 3-point shot from the corner missed by Smith. Rodman storming up court, tries to lead Pippen a little too much.
Yeah, Dennis came out, and a lot of times he will make that pass, but that time he had a lot of floor in front of him, nobody in front of him. All he had to do was keep control of the ball till he had the numbers that he wanted.
Here's Smith, who talked about Houston ability to hit from 3 and take a lot of 3-point shots. That's a 2-point basket by Olajuwon, but the Rockets tonight are only 2 for 15 from downtown.
That time, Hakeem, they ran a pick and roll, and the Chicago Bulls decide to ice it, force it to the corner, leaving Olajuwon wide open.
And the basket is good. Scottie Pippen on a great feed from Michael Jordan on the lob. And they are the two of them. Boy, do they appreciate each other big time now.
This is a perfect pass. Look at this, a perfect lob pass. Pippen with his great athletic ability gets it, controls it, and gets it in. Here it is again. Another look at it. A set play.
Pippen makes the free throw, completes the 3-point play on Horry's foul. Scottie now with 8, and it's 61-36 with 7:10 remaining in the third quarter.
It's a little different look, different set than they've had. A high-low set that could be an effective set for getting the ball inside.
Horry has a Hakeem under Longley and Olajuwon. That's the best move they've had inside all night.
Well, they went to a little different set. It's one they have in the repertoire, but they've waited a long, long time to get to it.
This is the kind of set you would have used a lot earlier.
I think you got to go a little bit earlier with this set.
Longley tried to forces it. Bulls get back defensively, and Smith lays it up, and Robert Horry is on the floor, shaken up. Robert Horry. And he's got to come out, and his shoulder apparently, he's going to rush to the sideline. Ray Melchiori, the trainer, and Robert Horry is in obvious pain. And a timeout is called. Horry hurt and holding on to his left shoulder, and a timeout with 6:27 to go in the third.
There's a hook by Longley, goes up. I don't know, Horry just kind of leans in there and looks as though maybe one of his own players got down him. He didn't fall on the shoulder at all. In fact, that was his shoulder inside. Yeah, oh, I see. It's an elbow on top of the shoulder. It is the dislocation kind of a hit. It looked more like a bang or a bruise, and he should be able to come back in the game. But at times, he's been a little sensitive to getting banged over the years since he's been in the league. But he got a pretty good whack from the elbow there.
Tim Breaux, native of Baton Rouge, who appeared in 42 games last year with the Rockets, has come into the game replacing Robert Horry. So Horry goes out having scored only 4 points. And a dry night for Horry. 61-40, 21-point lead for the Bulls, nearly halfway through this third quarter. Elie and Longley over the top commits his third foul. They get 4 now on Longley.
That's the same set. What they need to do is run it a little bit higher and release sooner, and they'll get even more out of it because you've got total isolation in the middle. While the defense can collapse, you can get him in a position to do some good. Rudy Tomjanovich recognizes this is the only thing that's gone for us tonight, and we better utilize it.
Wennington replaces Longley, who goes out with 4.
they are high.
And Smith. Ellie gets it into Olajuwon, ready to collapse around Hakeem. Good feed into Mario Ellie on the baseline, cutting in, and Ellie now with 11.
Got good spacing on the play, allowed for an easy outlet pass to get him back in the game.
19-point lead. Rodman was going in, looking for the alley-oop pass from Harper. Pippen fires away and hits a three. Scottie Pippen with his first from downtown, coming in with 61 3-point baskets on the season to lead the Bulls.
Just when you sense that Houston's maybe getting something going, then he comes down and nails the three and takes the wind out of your sail.
Chicago Bulls, of course, on a pace to win 70 games. No team in the NBA has ever won 70. The Lakers won 69 and the Sixers 68. Lakers with a 69-13 record back in the 71-72 season. The Sixers back in 67 won 68 games.
Phil Jackson and Tex Winter talking, even when a game is going extremely well, you still get down when little things go wrong that you feel so comfortable about doing normally, and you should be able to do easily.
20-point lead, 5:20 remaining in the third. Jordan to Ron Harper, short, and Jordan another offensive rebound, and Michael with a left-handed layup misses. Batted out by Rodman to Whittington. Alert play by Dennis Rodman, and the Bulls get a new clock. 12 rebounds for Dennis Rodman. He has scored only 2, but he has done the job on the glass. Jordan up and under, misses, and Olajuwon the rebound. Smith past the gambling Jordan. Rowe short on the layup. Remember Ori with that injured shoulder on the bench right now for the Rockets, who trail by 20. Rockets a 4-game winning streak in dire jeopardy right now. 4 on the shot clock. Pippen. Wild. Good defense that time, half court, but the Bulls wind up with the ball again. Hey, Chicago's got all the loose balls.
Yeah, they just keep getting second possessions, 2 and 3 shots. Even when they take a shot, miss it, they keep getting it back. Makes it so difficult to get back in the game.
Low to Pippen against Rowe. Basket good and a foul. Scottie Pippen working on that mismatch off the glass. Scottie now with 13.
Another problem is that when it's going so well for Chicago on the other end, they've got a 22-point lead. Then they come down and they move the ball and move the ball. It does not give Houston a possession to try to get back in the game, and they get impatient.
Michael Jordan goes to the bench with 26 points. 8 here in this third quarter, and Steve Kerr replaces him. Pippen completes the 3-point play. He's got 4 rebounds and 6 assists to go along with his 14 points. And Rowe collides with Ron Harper, and a foul called against Tim Rowe.
And Rudy Tomjanovich, they know that after free throws, they are going to put this little press on and make it difficult. Here's the collision right here. Harper had the steal, and Bro came from behind and knocked him down. They've got to attack this press a little bit differently. They don't throw it at you that often, but it's enough to disconcert you.
Bulls have out-rebounded the Rockets. And the offensive glass, the big story, as you mentioned, Chicago getting a lot of second opportunities tonight. Here's Harper against Bro in the lane. Ron Harper. That's his first basket of the game. Harper coming in, averaging over 7 on the season.
What you like about Harper this year compared to last year, he's working harder to get open and get to the basket, and he's a much more effective player. Even though he has only 1 field goal tonight, over the season, he's been much more effective.
Tim Bro left open on the perimeter, hits, and it's 69-46 in favor of the Bulls. They led by 17 at the half. And they're up by 23 right now.
And look at the time they're taking off the clock and the ball movement, the passes.
Whittington. Rodman alertly gets the tip, fires it, misses. Rodman with 13 rebounds, and it's out of bounds, and it'll be Houston's ball.
Just talking about Ron Harper. Here he gets it on the post, wheels in. Well, actually a hook shot over the top. Last year he was settling for the jumper, not working as hard to get shots.
Just under 3 minutes remaining in the third quarter. This marquee matchup has turned out to be anything but, as the Bulls have dominated the Houston Rockets, who have sleepwalked through most of this game. Kenny Smith hits that last jumper.
Rudy Tomjanovich told us today, last year here in this building, it was the low point in his career. We sense he won again this year, and it's probably going to give his club a little bit of a wake-up call.
Timeout. 2:35 remaining in the third. Let's take a look now at tonight's GMC scoreboard. Barn burner at the Fleet Center, and a 3-point Boston lead over Portland in the fourth. Orlando leading by 9 points. Milwaukee over Detroit. Detroit's been playing better lately.
Very well, but Milwaukee had a poor performance last night, at home playing better.
Utah, San Antonio, a good matchup. They're all tied. And for all the scores and highlights, tune to CNN Sports tonight at 11 p.m. Eastern with Fred Hickman and Nick Charles. Ori is back in the game, so Robert Ori, who looked like he went down hard with that shoulder injury, is in there now guarding Tony Kukoc, who has also come back in. Kukoc with a turnaround. Kukoc scored 9 of his 11 points in the second quarter. Now has 13, and it's 71-48.
And he's making real strides toward being the sixth man of the year. Comes in off the bench and really gives them offense, can create, and does a lot of great things for this Chicago club.
Sam Cassell not as active tonight, although he had a spurt in the second quarter. Another candidate for sixth man of the year. Under 2 minutes remaining. Olajuwon over Wennington. Hakeem now with 13 points. 21-point lead in favor of the Chicago Bulls. They have dominated the Rockets. Pippen goes after the loose ball after missing the shot. Couldn't save it. Here's Kenny Smith. Kerr is back. Smith slices in and gets the basket.
And Kenny Smith trying to ignite something here. He has not played particularly well over the course of the year. That's why Cassell is getting so many more minutes. But he is very capable of lighting you up, particularly from outside, and can get to the basket.
Kerr in the lane finds an open Wennington. Olajuwon, big presence in front of him. Altered Wennington's shot, and now a foul. And that'll be the 15th foul against the Rockets. And the foul by Kenny Smith. Want to remind you, next Wednesday, the Chicago Bulls have a chance to avenge one of the teams that administered one of their 3 losses. They lost to Orlando on the road and beat them here at United Center. Lost to Indiana on the 26th of December. 3 days later, avenged that. And the Seattle Sonics beat them out west, and they can avenge that next Wednesday on TBS. Chuck will be right back here.
Yeah, the Seattle Supersonics got off to a little bit of a slow start, but are playing, I think, outstanding basketball right now. Even though Detlef Schrempf is still hurt, don't know when he'll be back. Nevertheless, maybe, less people to rotate, other people getting more minutes, but they are playing good basketball. Should be a premier matchup again next week. Hopefully a little better than this one turned out, at least thus far.
Maybe a lot better. We saw Olajuwon go out of the game with 13 points. And Mark Bryant come in. It's 73-52 with under a minute remaining in the third quarter. And Cassell tries for the 3, misses, and it comes down into Ori's hands. Robert Ori. Right now the Rockets just flailing away. And this crowd enjoying another victory as Kerr feeds Jordan, and Michael Jordan now with 28 points, 2 away from his season's average.
I think this is one of the games that Phil Jackson would like to put away midway through the fourth quarter and play as reserves. I think he'd like to keep Jordan and Pippen out a little bit, but want to take into consideration an injury, but nevertheless, he wants to put this one away.
Mark Bryant with the hook shot. And the final seconds of the third quarter. 75-54 the Bulls. Tony Kukoc finds Wennington. Forced it with Bryant in his face, and that'll do it for the third quarter. Michael Jordan with 28 points has scored 10 here in this third quarter, and he is the pace setter for the Bulls, who are winning in a big way, 75-54 over the Rockets. Along with Chuck Daly, Dick Stockton, it has been a full house, and a house that has I'll have to get a little nervous tonight, not by the 75-54 score we have so far. Rockets showed a little bit of a flash in the third quarter, but the Bulls have been in total control.
Total control offensively, defensively, but a lot of that lies at the feet of the Houston Rockets. They've been so ineffective. They've been unable to score, not handle the ball correctly, not get anything going in this particular game.
Biggest loss for the Rockets this year, 15-point setback to the Knicks and to the San Antonio Spurs, as Robert Horry gets the first point of this fourth quarter, and missing hitting from outside. Kerr with a three-point shot.
And as we indicated, 49% shooter from the three-point line, third in the NBA.
78-56. Mario Ellie for the Rockets. Ellie has 13. Houston came in with 5 players in double figures, including Cassell with 15 off the bench. Horry on the rebound. Minute going by, and Tim Bro loses it out of bounds. Let's get an update from Cheryl Miller.
Thanks a lot, Dick. Well, earlier in the third quarter, we saw Robert Horry leave the game because he was elbowed in the head. Now we see Hakeem Olajuwon, when he left the third quarter, was elbowed in the arm. And right now, he's icing it on the bench, but they said that he is healthy to return to the game. Back to you guys. Maybe
Hakeem would like to just
set this one up.
That's right.
I've had enough.
Steve Kerr with a three-point basket, 80-58 in favor of the Bulls. Horry working against Kukoc, and Tony Kukoc with a foul.
The Rockets have been pretty effective the last 3 or 4 times down the floor, either drawing a foul or getting the basket. The problem is the Bulls come right back and match it, sometimes with a three-point shot.
Kukoc with the foul. Inside, Horry with a turnaround. The basket counts and a foul. Robert Horry, who went the longest time, went at least into the third quarter without a field goal, now has 8 points, and the foul is on Kukoc.
He's working with a low post. Fades away. He's been a lot more active since he got bumped a little bit, and he's playing better basketball on the post.
You mentioned the fact that Horry was on the trading block for Sean Elliott. Little too unselfish for Rudy T's likes. Mark Bryant goes in, and the basket counts and a foul. So the Rockets getting a little aggressive inside, and Mark Bryant with the basket.
And all of a sudden have cut it to 18 points. And surprisingly, they are making a better move right now than they've played basically all year.
Back to Robert Horry, situation where Rudy T's wife Sophie had decorated Robert Horry's house, so she didn't want him to be traded, that's for sure. All right, at this point, with the score 80-63, the Bulls over the Rockets, we're going to send you to Atlanta for some bonus NBA coverage. Michael Jordan just hit a basket, his 32nd point of the game, as the Bulls continue to roll. 3 minutes going by here in the fourth and final quarter, 84-65. Missing a three is Robert Horry. The rebound by Scottie Pippen. Here's Steve Kerr, and Kukoc is there. Great feed from Kerr to Tony Kukoc, who's got 15 in the ball game. Now the Rockets' lowest point total this year was 82. They've got 65 right now, and they're in jeopardy of having their lowest scoring output of the season, as Pippen chalks up his second person.
Pippen trying to get in position, trying to take a block, but didn't get there in time, according to Dick Bavetta.
Tim Bro is on the free throw line. He has averaged 6 minutes a game off the bench for the Rockets, but in a game like this, getting a chance to play.
Yeah, when you're Rudy Tomjanovich, and searching. Why not throw a guy in there? He may give you some energy. Maybe something good will happen. And he's playing pretty good basketball. Actually, they're probably playing better right now than they have all night.
19-point lead for the Bulls. Kukoc can't make a move against Ori. Steve Kerr misses a three. And Tim Bro, in the second year from the University of Wyoming, gets the rebound. Cassell controlling the ball. And right now we're going to send you back to Atlanta for the finish of that game between the Celtics and the Portland Trailblazers. Vince Giannini.
All right, thank you.
His third.
So as they go to overtime at the Fleet Center, back here it's 86-69. 17-point lead. And that was the margin at the half. So the Rockets, Chuck, have come back from what was a 25-point deficit.
They've gotten much more aggressive defensively. Made some steals. In that case, Ellie made the steal. Kicked off with Cassell. Cassell went to the basket, got fouled. Almost had the three-point play. So Phil Jackson's saying, I'm not taking any chances. I'm bringing Rodman back, and I'm bringing Longley back. I'm going to get my starting lineup on the floor.
So to the Rockets' credit, they've come back and played hard, which is what champions do. And there you saw Longley, who has 4 personals back in the game, and Dennis Rodman as well. Houston has missed only 5 of its last 21 field goal attempts. Cassell now with 13. And it's a 15-point game with 7:05 remaining.
There is time, but they've got to get stops. They've got to be more aggressive defensive. They're not going to do it necessarily on the offensive end. They've got to make something happen here defensively.
Ori is out to meet Pippen. And Jordan misses, and the rebound by Olajuwon. So Hakeem, while we were gone, came back in the game. So the Rockets making a run now.
And right now is the time you have to get a good shot. They want Bryant on the box.
Traveling called against Mark Bryant.
You see, in that case, Rudy has to say, I'm 15 down. Let me get the ball. But he probably liked what he saw. He said, well, I'm getting Bryant on a post-up, and here comes the ball. Watch his feet. Watch his feet. One, and he shuffles that foot. Yeah, he shuffles the ball. That's a walk.
He did a little dance there. Now it's time for tonight's Dutch Boy in the Paint. Well, the duo of Winnington and Longley have outscored Hakeem Olajuwon and out-rebounded him. And the board edge by the Chicago Bulls to the tune of 43-17. Gene Siskel would have given thumbs down to the Rockets to this point, but maybe they'll change his mind if they continue to make a run here, trailing by 15.
A frequent flyer here on the sidelines, and always thumbs up for the Bulls.
Assist turnover ratio. Dennis Rodman looking inside, and Pippen misses one shot, gets his own rebound. And Bryant the rebound. So now the Rockets coming back. Cassell feeding Robert Ori, and blocked by Dennis Rodman. What a great play by Rodman, blocking Ori, and Kukoc gets the easy 2 at the other end.
Those are the kind of defensive plays that stop momentum. Looked like a wide open, easy fast break basket. Didn't turn out to be.
Mario Ellie, wild 3. And I tell you, that's what the Bulls had lacked, what Dennis Rodman gave them right there. But Rodman lost the ball. It is 88-71, under 6 minutes to go. Cassell going strong to the basket, forced the pass.
Wide open. Ori was going to stuff it. Rodman comes in, gets a hand on him. No block. Should take up and ends up on an easy basket by a great pass by Pippen. Tony Kukoc, so easy.
17 for Tony. There's Olajuwon working against Longley. Traveling called against Hakeem. So, like Brian a few moments ago, Hakeem moves that planted foot, and another traveling violation. So every time the Rockets seem to be making a run, they shoot themselves in the foot. And that's what's going on now with 5:47 remaining. Pippen, Kukoc, Rodman, Longley, and Jordan out there for the Bulls. Good feed, great feed a long lead to Pippen. That's great passing.
You know, the Bulls are playing so much better than we saw them a month ago or whatever. They're feeling much more confident in the offense. They're finding those cutters on the baseline from the interior and really running their offense.
Elijah Wan inside against Longley scores, and basically what Phil Jackson will tell you, I've got a team of wings and guards. Forget about people who play various positions.
If you're going to beat the Chicago Bulls, not only are you going to have to be great defensively, you're going to have to find ways to score. They are not going to give up a lot of easy points.
Horry and a kick ball and a new 24-second clock for the Rockets.
Watch this high post feed. Longley cutting Pippen. Great backdoor and a great pass.
Eldridge Recastner has come back in the backcourt for Houston. Trailing by 17. They led by 3 after one quarter. Were down by 17 at the half. And a 21-point deficit after 3. Hitting the deck was Robert Horry, and Kukoc now has 4 fouls. Final score in the NBA. In overtime, the Portland Trailblazers defeated the Boston Celtics 109-107. So it's been a good Eastern swing for P.J. Carlesimo, having beaten the Knicks the other night.
Yeah, and Orlando beats Toronto 121-110. On the previous play, you saw Tony Kukoc getting very physical, not allowing Horry to go set that screen. And that's a good sign for the Bulls when he gets physical.
Steve Kerr comes in, and a hand for Tony Kukoc, having a big night tonight. Kukoc with 17 points off the bench. Elijah Wan and Horry, a total of 24 points in the game. They came in averaging 38. 15-point lead for the Bulls with under 5 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. Here's the trap by the Rockets. They showed it a couple of times tonight. Pippen walked. He had the open shot at 3-point territory, but decided to drive.
Yeah, he's not had one of his better nights. You know, for Pippen, it's still a very good night for the normal player. But for him to have as many turnovers as he's had, unusual. 6 in all.
Remember, the Rockets, 82 points has been their low output of the year. And it appears they're going to avoid that ignominious total tonight. Feed inside to Bryant from Horry. Rebound by Rodman. That's 14 boards for Dennis Rodman, who came in averaging nearly 15. And on the turnover again, Horry finds Recastner. Eldridge misses from the perimeter. He was wide open, and if the Rockets have any chance of coming and making this game, they got to hit those. Jordan fouled.
Dennis Rodman's had a little bit of a difficult time tonight. He's been getting the ball out on the break, taking it out on the power dribble, and 3 times has turned it over. Unusual for him. He's got to take it a little bit longer on the dribble.
Mark Bryant foul, and Michael Jordan with 32 points going to the free throw line. Chuck, what about the Chicago Bulls? People talking about on pace for 70 wins. How possible is it for them to do that?
I think it's possible, but I also think they're going to have to be lucky injury-wise. In other words, can they afford an injury to a Jordan or a Pippen in order to reach that? And it'll get testy down the stretch, but they certainly are playing on a pace to do it and are capable of reaching that 70 margin. It's going to take a very good basketball team to beat them, a very smart one, and a great game plan.
And they're undefeated at home, and should go to 16-0. Orlando, the only other undefeated team at home, now 17-0 as a result of their win over Toronto. Elijah Wan misses from the perimeter, and Mark Bryant with the putback. 10 points now for Bryant. It's 91-77 in favor of Chicago. Longley leaves it for Scottie Pippen. Now Kerr. Pippen working against Horry, and he lost it. We thought that was going to be a pretty good matchup tonight, Horry and Pippen, but it hasn't materialized as Kukoc checks back in for the Bulls, and a timeout with 3:27 remaining in the fourth quarter. Somewhere between 31 and 33. Happy birthday, Cheryl.
Thank you very much, but it's actually 28. Okay, I'm lying. But anyways, hey, let's talk about Rudy Tomjanovich. He's been very successful on the court, but off the court as well. He's started his own tie collection called the Rudy T Tie Collection, and at one point it was so successful that he sold 1,000 ties in 45 minutes at 60 a pop. So guys, judging from the look at your ties, you might want to make an investment.
Well, thank you, Cheryl. And normally that would be the case, and it's his wife Sophie is going into the tie business after being a decorator. But when you're sitting next to Mr. Dapper himself, Chuck Daly, you go with Chuck's tie. That's what I do.
A little bit of a cottage industry. I wish I'd have thought of it myself.
That's another one you missed out on, right?
I missed a lot.
Cassell guarded by Kerr. Elliott Recaster with Morey, Bryant, and Olajuwon. There's Akeem, a little bit too far away from the basket. Puts up the jumper and hits. I guess not. Olajuwon with 17 points, and it's 91-79. 12-point game with just under 3 minutes to go. Very quietly, the Rockets have come back in this game. Seemingly out of it, down by as much as 25, but that's a dagger, perhaps. Luke Longley with 8 points. And you mentioned it, they got to have some stops, the Rockets.
Yeah, they really do, and they're getting into this trap, but once you get into the trap, then you leave people wide open. That time it was Longley, and you're right, a big dagger.
Recaster with 5 on the shot clock. Hakeem with another outside shot. Olajuwon with 19.
All of a sudden, they found him a way. He found a way to get him shots facing rather than the box where he was allowed to be double-teamed and not get shots. And when he's facing, he's a deadly shooter.
Pippen misses a 3, and Olajuwon the rebound. The Rockets hope it's not after the barn door is closed. As we wind down to 2 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. Setting a screen is Ori for Cassell, uses his body, and will go to the line. Very nearly had a chance for a 3-point conversion.
Now, Rudy T's got to be a little happier about the way his club is coming back. Whether it's a little bit let it down by the Bulls, and I'm not sure of that. They seem to be chipping away. I'm afraid there's not enough time in the game.
Luke Longley with his 5th personal foul. And that's not really a serious aspect because with Wennington in there, he could afford to foul out. What the Bulls don't really want are the quick fouls against Longley, and he avoided those tonight. He missed them both. Cassell gets it back. Good move, Cassell against Kukoc, and threw it up to draw the shooting foul.
No good unless you're able to convert. He just missed 2. When he went for the layup, he gets a layup. He doesn't have to make both. Now he's missed 2, going back to the line.
Luke Longley is fouled out of the game, having scored 8 points. But the Bulls have to be pleased somewhat with his effort, because early in the game when Olajuwon wasn't doing much, Longley did his job.
Yeah, he did a good job staying out of foul trouble. He muscled Olajuwon, kept him off the box, kept him a little unbalanced. They were not able to get him the ball exactly the way they wanted to.
So Sam Cassell, 84% free throw shooter, who missed 2 just a few moments ago, connects here. Olajuwon with 19. Mario Elie 15. Cassell can also have 15 if he hits here, and Ori with 10, Brian with 10. He made only 1.
3 out of the last free throws that would have put him within 8 points.
5 in double figures for the Rockets. Jordan with a 3. Michael Jordan with his first from downtown and 36 points on the night. 96-82, and that's all she wrote for the most part. As Olajuwon will go to the line, and Kukoc with the personal foul, and many in the crowd here at the United Center seeing the battle between teams that have won the NBA championship in each of the last 5 years. 3 peat for the Bulls and back-to-backs by the Rockets, who are trying to three-peat in their own right. Feel this one is salted away.
A disappointing performance by the Houston Rockets, but not one they're going to dwell on for very long. They'll be looking forward to rematch. They'll look long and hard at this film, and they'll look at ways to try to score against Chicago in the next matchup, which will be late in January.
21 for Hakeem. Jordan going baseline. Feed to Rodman. And Jordan now with 38 points. 3 players in double figures for the Bulls tonight. 5 for the Rockets. Olajuwon. Hakeem now with 23 points, having a big fourth quarter, 10 points in the fourth.
And all of a sudden seems to be energized and finding a little bit of a rhythm, but much too late.
There's the trap, and Steve Kerr calls a timeout. It's a 12-point deficit right now, but the game is not as close as the score indicated, and a 20-second timeout has been called. Well, thanks to Marty Aronoff, our starter statistician.
And tour guide. It was only 45 minutes to get here, which is usually a 25-minute trip.
Well, you know, he went to Northwestern
School
Chicago branch. No, he went to the Chicago branch, so he knows his way. Or so I thought.
You know, an interesting play just developed there. I don't know if we have a replay on it, but Steve Kerr shook his head, was upset, and had to take the 20-second timeout. But he got it too close to the sideline. You get it too close, you're going to allow that double team to happen. He's got to stay further out on the court so it can't happen.
38 for Jordan, 23 for Olajuwon. That's also misleading, considering that Hakeem had 13 after 3 quarters. 1 minute remaining. And I'll tell you, they kept Jordan out there and played a lot of minutes tonight.
I think part of it, they've had 4 days off. He needs the work. They've got to go to Charlotte tomorrow night and want him to be a little bit sharper.
39 minutes for Michael Jordan. Pippen. And the rebound by Olajuwon. The Houston Rockets, who were the 6th seed in the West last year with a 47-35 record. They want to get home court. They did not have it for all 4 of their series last year. And they want to get it this time around. And Olajuwon misses inside, and a foul with 24.1. Rockets will drop to 23-9. And the Chicago Bulls, with the best record in the NBA, will up their record to 26-3, and still a perfect home record at the United Center at 16-0 for Phil Jackson's team. Orlando at 17-0, the only other team unbeaten at home this season. What are you going to do on nights like this?
There have been better, Mr. Smith says.
This is one you just want to forget as quickly as possible. Olajuwon misses both free throws. Well, they've gotten to the line, but they are not connected down the stretch.
He's a 68% shooter. A lot of people think he's a better shooter than that from free throw line, but he's only 68%.
The Houston Rockets, who came back after losing to Indiana on the road by beating the Pacers here, now have won their 3rd in a row, trying to start a new winning streak that reached 14 and 13 games in 2 major streaks, and the game is over. And the much heralded contest between the 2 top teams in the Eastern and Western conferences never really materialized, as the Chicago Bulls have defeated the Houston Rockets by a score of 100-86. That's our final score. Michael Jordan leading the Bulls with 38 points. Tony Kukoc had 19 and Scottie Pippen 16. And the high point man for the Houston Rockets was Hakeem Olajuwon with 23. And right now, let's go to Cheryl Miller.
All right,
Cheryl? Cheryl?
Hey, Bill, this was an incredible start for the 95 season. This team just seems to get better and better. What is it about the Chicago Bulls?
Scottie, Michael, and Dennis right there. That pretty much puts it in a nutshell. You got a guy like Dennis going to get rebounds, and guys like Michael and Scottie that can score points almost at will. It kind of makes it easy for the rest of us.